Mask mandates ending today, the change announced earlier this week. That will begin to take effect, what that means for Ball State students and how they're responding.
And students across campus are preparing to leave for spring break. And this is the first one they've had in nearly 2 years. How students are staying safe over the break and their response to a return of a regular spring schedule.
Warm temperatures are returning this weekend, but the mornings will still be chilly. Our weather team will be timing out your weekend forecast. Get the coffee ready, open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
Good morning to you. You're waking up with Cardinal weather. I'm Angelica Gonzalez.
And I'm Madeline Kerr.
Breaking news, a section of Riverside Avenues is closed after a car crash. Earlier this morning, students received an email saying that Muncie Police Department is investigating a crash in the area. In the email, they said the section of Riverside Avenue from McKinley to Warwick is closed. Here is a picture of what the scene looked like this morning. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. As always, we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more.
And turning internationally now, the war in Ukraine is causing imports to be delayed or stopped in the U.S. One of those goods, alcohol.
Places around the country say they are showing their support of Ukraine by stopping sales of Russian vodka altogether.
North Carolina Alcohol Commission has suspended all sales of Russian liquor throughout the state. Columbus, Ohio, and Las Vegas are also some of the cities getting rid of liquor by pouring it into the streets. But closer to home, the owners of the Herat and Valhalla in downtown Muncie have put a cap on their sales.
I think as Russia expands militarily and as China is probably going to go to Taiwan in a few months, those things that we can do to at least show displeasure and maybe cause them a little discomfort and support the people on the other side.
Stevens has been selling Russian vodka for around 15 years. But with tensions rising in Ukraine, he says the decision came quickly and is symbolic to how he wants to show his support.
It's a way for the individual person to show displeasure with what a government is doing.
Says he does not know of any other bars in Muncie stopping sales of Russian vodka, but he will not be putting it back on his shelves for the time being. And Angelica, I've heard a lot about this story all week, how businesses across the country are taking down Russian vodka.
Yes, and Russian invasion of Ukraine also has caused oil prices to surge. AAA says the average price of gas in Illinois is just over $4 a gallon. The national average is $3.72, and in California, it's $4.94. Governor Eric Holcomb showed his support for major tax state cut, saying that tax collections were strong enough to help him move past his former doubts. He released a statement endorsing a plan for broad businesses and individual tax cut. It was pushed by Indiana House Republicans, but opposed by Senate Republican leaders for months. Holcomb sided with the Senate Republican leaders, but his action yesterday showed a shift in his opinion. Key parts of the proposal will cut individual income tax rates by 0.33%. And now, after 3 years of sitting empty, a retail strip on Muncie's south side is set to get new life in a redevelopment project. Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour announced in a press release that the retail strip at 333 South Madison Street is getting a new name, look, and several businesses. The newly named plaza, the Markets on Madison, is getting a mix of restaurants, businesses, and retail. A grocery store is also in the works. Ridenour said in the release that he hopes the project brings jobs and visitors to the area. Owners of software consulting group Brick Red Systems, based out of Washington State, purchased the property late last year with plans to bring new life to the property and the south side of Muncie. And speaking of Muncie, we're going to take a look at our local weather today. Jack?
Yeah, good morning. For your first look at weather this morning, right now we are waking up to temperatures in the high 20s there. So here in Muncie, we're going to be at 29 degrees. Indianapolis will be at 30, and then down in Bloomington actually will be at 31 degrees there. So we're a little colder today, but there's good news ahead there. Also looking at these current wind chills there, because you want to factor those in, because when you walk outside you want to dress accordingly. So in Muncie it actually feels like 22 degrees, and the same deal in Indianapolis as well. So when you leave the house this morning, make sure to just throw on that jacket, maybe a hat and gloves as well. You want to stay warm there. As we're looking ahead towards the 8 hours there, we're going to have a nice gradual warm up here to around 49 degrees around 4 o'clock there. So a really nice change, about 20-degree increase from this morning there. Should feel really nice this afternoon then. Going to a little bit of current radar there. Look at this. All clear in the neighborhood. nothing really to worry about there. And then what we're tracking coming up on the show, we have a gradual warm up today, like I just said there. We do have some very warm temps for the weekend there, and then we have some T-storms for Sunday morning. Guys?
Thank you so much, Jack. Just ahead, Ball State drops its mask mandate, what that means for students.
And the White House plan to manage COVID-19. That's after your weather now. Ball State's mask mandate is set to end today at 5 o'clock. The change means face masks will no longer be required inside campus buildings and buses.
This comes nearly 2 years after students were first sent home in 2020 to finish out the semester online. Waking Up with Cardinal Weather's Grace Benkowski spoke with students about their thoughts on the change.
I think it's a good idea.
I feel like it's all right.
I feel like it should be dropped after spring break.
Mixed reactions from students after the decision to drop the campus-wide mask mandate, one that's been in effect since fall 2020. In a statement sent via email to students, parents, and faculty, Mearns said, quote, "The adjustment is justified by the sustained and substantial decline in the number of new infections." Even with this information, some students are hesitant about the lift happening just before spring break.
But I just feel like they should wait till after spring break and just see what the numbers do till then.
Other students have been looking forward to this decision following other Indiana universities.
Students can see the faces of the professors, and the professors can see their faces of their students. I feel like this will bring a lot more relations to the campus culture as well.
Although no one from the university was able to elaborate on the change, one source told Newslink Indiana through email that, quote, "The COVID response plans for both students and employees have been updated to reflect the change in policy. Regardless of the change, some students will continue to wear their masks after spring break."
Personally, I feel like I'm going to keep wearing my mask only because you're just not sure about what's happening these days.
In addition to Ball State's statement, the Indiana Senate has endorsed a bill allowing administrative steps sought by Governor Eric Holcomb that could result in the COVID-19 public health emergency declaration. That's after senators voted 32-18 Tuesday in the favor of the proposal. The House and the Senate must still agree on a single version of the proposal before consideration. Holcomb's current public health order expires today.
Now turning nationally, the White House says it has a plan to manage COVID-19 altogether so you can do more of the things you miss. The first part of it involves pharmacies preparing, quote, test to treat initiatives. If you're positive, you go home with FDA authorized antiviral medication for free.
First, protect against and treat COVID. Second, prepare for any new variants. Third, prevent economic and school shutdowns. Fourth, vaccinate the world and save lives.
Officials are also considering letting you fly without a mask. That mandate expires March 18th. And sticking nationally now, spring break is obviously this week. There's going to be a lot of traveling, so hopefully the weather stays nice.
Eric, what do you have for us?
Well, I have mixed signals for the weather, as we're expecting some nice weather, but also expecting some changes for next week. But right now, it's looking pretty good for your weekend. And as it towards the forecast for looking towards the view for the weather right now. Right now, we do have plenty of watches and warnings for much of the nation right now. We do have some winter storm warnings for much of the northern parts of our nation, which is in effect because of the winter storm is expected to impact much of the northern parts of the U.S. this weekend. And we also do have some flood warnings also in effect for parts of Mississippi Valley, and this is due to some some rivers are flooding, and this will only increase as we head into next week as expecting some more rain for parts of that area. And also looking at temperatures right now, looking quite cold for much of the region. Right now, 29 degrees here in Muncie, 36 degrees here in Kansas City, and across the nation, it's 54 degrees here in Dallas, and 60 degrees as a warm spot here in Atlanta. So looking really looking good for much in the region right now. And that only will continue until later on today, as temperatures will top around 60 degrees here in Kansas City, 74 degrees here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and then looking across the nation, 66 degrees here in Las Vegas, and 60 degrees down here in Los Angeles. So looking like a nice seasonal day for Friday. If we're going to be traveling as well.
It'll be
and that only will continue to Saturday. Saturday, we'll expect that warmth to expand to the east. Temperatures around 68 degrees here in Kansas City, 76 degrees here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and our cold spot being Billings at 26 degrees. So if we're going to be in Billings, you're going to be shivering your butt off because it's going to be pretty cold. And as you look towards your future forecast, we're expecting some nice weather for much in the region, but there are, in our nation's midsection, we're expecting the battle between warm and cold air masses, which will influence the weather as well. For Friday evening, we're expecting some snow to begin to break out here in parts of the Rockies, and some clouds as well for much of the Great Plains, but looking quiet for your Friday night. And as you head into your day on Saturday morning, we're expecting to get some rain and snow to break out in Nebraska as well, some showers going to break out for much of the Great Plains, and by Saturday morning, we'll watch this potential for severe weather here in parts of the Great Plains, as we're watching a front that's just swing through much of the nation, bringing potential for severe weather. By Saturday evening, we're expecting those storms to fire up and then bring in some heavy rain to parts of Illinois, Iowa, and even Indianapolis Indiana by later on this evening. But we're expecting much in the way of we're expecting much in the way of severe weather here in Indianapolis, but we're expecting much severe weather to be wafted off in Iowa and Illinois. And as you do look towards your future forecast for temperatures, if you're wanting more warmer weather, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case because those warmer temperatures are only going to last until Saturday, as those temperatures will start to decrease as you head into Sunday and Monday for Indiana. But if you're heading down to like Florida, it's expected to be still pretty nice. But if you're heading up to again Billings, Montana, or Cheyenne, Wyoming, it is expected to be pretty cold. So make sure you do bundle up if you're going to be over there for spring break.
Thank you, Eric. After the break, we'll get a live look at the NFL Combine from Indianapolis.
That's after a message from Mitz.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, Mitz will take you there.
And now an update to the story we brought to you early this morning. Fox 59 has confirmed that one person is dead after a car crash that left a section of Riverside Avenue closed this morning. Police say they're continuing to investigate the cause of the crash. And this week on our Adopt a Paw segment, we highlight a pet who bounces with energy. Meet Cucumber. She is a 3-year-old boxer mix and is the sweetest dog you'll ever meet. She might do well in a home with other pets. Cucumber will also do fine in a home with older children. She is an avid singer, and by that we mean she loves to bark for the whole month of March. All cats and dogs at the Muncie Animal Shelter are $30. It's part of their Spring Shelter event. Because of Cucumber's time spent at the shelter, her fee is waived. If you're interested in making Cucumber a part of your family or to learn more about adoption events, just head over to the MACS website at cityofmuncie.com. And there is a new server here that doesn't involve human interaction. With recent pandemic-induced labor shortages, some places are short on hands and turning to wheels.
We're just met with some challenges with staffing and some business levels that Deadwood hasn't been used to, so we thought outside the box.
The tables, the bar, and wherever else it's programmed.
Working pedal to the metal, it begs the question, is a robot being rightfully compensated? But one thing we don't know is how much the casino paid the robot. The keys to determine how many hours it has to work to reach break even. Trading Pokemon cards is one thing, but for hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's on a whole nother level. The near mint condition vintage gaming card was sold for $900,000. The Pocket Monster Japanese promo illustrator holographic Pikachu card was created in 1998 and was only released in Japan. There were more than 30 other offers, but an unknown bidder won out in the end, shattering a former record and making it to the highest priced Pokemon card ever sold.
And now turning to weather, Jack, what is it going to be looking like for this next week for spring break?
Yeah, so actually spring break's looking great right now. We're actually going to be warming up very, very soon. Like this weekend is going to be absolutely lovely. But let's take a look right now at our current temperatures that's going on. So right now we are sitting at 29 degrees and 30 degrees at Indianapolis respectively there. So high to mid 20s there around the map there. Looking for today there, so we have a high temperature today of 50 degrees. We're going to be mostly cloudy, winds coming from the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. So a pretty cool, mild day. It's a lot better than the day we actually had yesterday, though, so we had that warm up there. Actually, and then another big story are going to be these winds that we're going to be experiencing this weekend with those warmer temperatures. Those winds actually are going to usher in the warmer temperatures as well. So I'll put this in motion starting Friday at 11:30. You can already see winds from the southeast at 22 miles an hour for Muncie and Anderson there. So as I move that forward, we're going to stop here at Saturday at 10:30. Look at this. High 30s for Muncie, 37, 38 for Anderson as well. And as you see, it switched from the southeast to the southwest there, also bringing in more of that warm air and temperatures there. And pretty much the winds will drop off by Sunday night there, coming in from the north and kind of cooling us down for the first beginning of the week there. Looking at some current radar right now, there is nothing notable going on right now. We are going to have some clouds that are going to build throughout the day, and that is the only thing that we'll be experiencing for the rest of the day. Now, we are expected to see some thunderstorms on early Sunday morning there. So we're going to start this around 10:30 on Saturday, and we're going to have some cloud cover. And then moving forward, we're going to have some storms hit around 2:30 in the morning, Sunday morning there, rolling through. So if you do wake up to some thunder, do not be alarmed. It was all forecasted anyway, and then Sunday morning you should be all clear there. Now it is spring break, so let's take a look at some airport delays, and I'm happy to announce Indy looking perfect, clear, no delays whatsoever, and then we can look at a couple other airports there, Indianapolis, Midway, O'Hare, Detroit. Everything is clear skies there, so if you're going to Florida or anywhere else warm, you shouldn't have an issue at all. This weekend, 71 degrees. Come on, how good. And then following that up on Sunday with 70 degrees there, and we are going to be experiencing that wind and a little bit of rain as well. Now for the 7-day forecast there, we are going to be at 50 today, but warming up to the 70s for Saturday, Sunday. Starting off Monday, there is a chance of rain there, and the temperature is going to drop a little bit to 45, and then we'll be in the mid-40s and mid-50s for the rest of the week. So it's going to be a great start to the spring break.
I am really excited. This weekend it's going to look beautiful. I'm a little disappointed that you said there was going to be little rain showers, but I guess it's early in the morning. I could work with that.
Especially feeling most of these winter temperatures throughout this week. It's going to be really nice to have that break, be on vacation or back at home and have those nice temperatures. And it's nice to know that those airlines are staying open and everyone's flights will hopefully be doing well for the rest of this week, getting home this afternoon and tomorrow.
Are you doing anything for spring break?
Spring break, I'm just going to go home. I'm going to try and play some golf. So,
awesome. Thank you so much, Jack. In just a moment, we'll talk about what's going on at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Stay with us.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Welcome back. This morning we are switching things up a bit. Each week we break down a different scientific concept, and now we're taking requests. Our first request was to break down the science of a sundog.
That's right. A sundog is a name for when you're looking at the sun and it looks like there are two bright spots on either side. Ryan Hill is here this morning to explain what it looks like and what happens.
Well, good morning to you, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Waking up and getting that coffee, open up those eyes with us. It's good to be back, and it's good to know that we've got spring break just the other side of today, so something to look forward to. We thought we'd cover something really interesting with the topic of sundogs, really, breaking down the science of those, because it's a really beautiful, beautiful display of nature. So let me show you how that all works. Basically, you've got one right behind you. You've got an area where you have two areas about like 22 degrees if you took a protractor and measured the angle between the sun, setting that as a 0 point and moving your hand this way or that way, you'll be able to see a 22-degree angle. I'll explain how that works in just a moment, but typically when we see them is in winter, but they can happen any time of year. And could you advance those, please? I didn't bring the thing with me. But the only difference is, pardon us there, the only difference is that they're not as bright during the winter. They can happen any time of year, but basically what happens is it's not as bright because what you need is not only the sun angle to get through those ice crystals and create that prismatic effect, just like a rainbow with water droplets, but it has to hit those at a certain angle and at a certain time of year where the sun angle is most appropriate for the situation. Also, what you want to consider here is that because of sun angle, it's much easier to get those to happen when you're in a sunrise-sunset sort of situation. So just over the horizon. You might have seen one this morning. I don't know if there really is too much in the way of ice crystals. We did have some high clouds, so definitely if you have some of those wispy clouds that look like horse tails, mare's tails, aka cirrus clouds, those are made of ice crystals, so that pretty much makes it easier for you to see something like this. So let's have a diagram that shows just how this whole thing works. That's in my next element here. What we have right here is where your sun is and your apparent position of either of your sundogs. Now, an ice crystal is shaped very much like a hexagon. So, again, the whole thing about hitting it at the right angle makes a whole ton of sense. And usually, if your sun brays, I mean, again, this is the right time of year and the right time of day, you're hitting them mainly at 22 degrees. And that causes the same thing to happen right here with respect to how you see them positioned near the sun. They're called sundogs because everybody go, "Aw." They're man's best friend, dogs. I couldn't say, not to say the same thing about cats. I'm a big cat person. But anyway, they're closely accompanying the sun like a dog with their master when you're walking along, maybe enjoying that 71-degree weather tomorrow, yeah? Definitely. So if you have a clear morning with some wispy high clouds, it's cold, the sun angle is right, sunrise, sunset, time of year is especially important. Definitely keep your eyes Appeal to the sky for something beautiful like this, especially in times like these. And remember, also, if you see someone walking around with a Pink Floyd shirt, The Wall, or better yet, their Dark Side of the Moon album cover, I tell you, they're an awesome band not only for their music, but they're also good because they show you a scientific principle. Just like glass, ice crystals do the same thing with sunlight. They split it in different colors, just like a rainbow. And then you have all of the colors of the rainbow split from the sunlight, the visible spectrum. It's just like radio waves. They have a spectrum, but visible light can be seen as different colors to the naked eye. So something cool to talk about. Hey, if you have any suggestions or requests for any cool topics just like sundogs, be sure to drop those into our Facebook on Waking Up with Cardinal Weather. That's what you'll search, and you'll find a way to make a comment on our show and drop that in. In the meantime, that's been Breaking Down the Science for this week. I'm Ryan Hill. Thank you for joining us. And Maddie, all of you over at the Edgar desk, back to you guys.
Thank you so much. Now, an update to a story we brought to you this morning. One Ball State student was killed in a car accident. The student involved in the crash was 19-year-old Braden Reynolds. He was killed after crashing his vehicle at Riverside Avenue. Reynolds was taken by ambulance to IU Health Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
Now we're going to get a look at, after the break, we'll get a look at the NFL Combine.
Zach Greer and Vinny Martorano are live in downtown Indianapolis to talk about what they've experienced attending the event this week. Zach and Vinny?
I am
2022 NFL Combine in Indianapolis, Indiana. Right now, it's currently taking place in the Indianapolis Convention Center, which is right next to Lucas Oil Stadium, again, in downtown Indianapolis. Right behind us right now that we have for you is our press coverage right now, where all of the different NFL players are currently being held for media coverage. If anybody, any reporter for any specific team or franchise wants to ask them a question. So we have been here since Wednesday. It has been a week-long event, being from Wednesday all the way up to Saturday. And right now, we are currently here for Friday, covering the defensive linemen. Today is the defensive linemen. Wednesday was the quarterbacks, tight ends, and wide receivers, and yesterday was the offensive line and running back. So, Vinny, we have been here for the past couple of days. Who are some guys that you think that have kind of stood out for you and the guys that we've talked to?
Absolutely. I think it goes yesterday. Yesterday was the offensive linemen and running backs. I got to speak with Evan Neal, who is one of the top prospects in this draft class, projected top 3 overall pick, offensive lineman from Alabama. And you think a player of that caliber would come in with some sort of an ego, like he knows he's the guy. But no, when you ask him genuine questions, you find out how genuine and down to earth a genuine superstar is. And I just asked him what it's going to be like transitioning from the college game to the pro game. And he gave me such an honest response saying it's going to be learning the playbook and adjusting to the speed. But he also told me it's something he's ready to work on and quickly adapt to. So it's good to see the hunger and the determination of these young athletes getting ready, already having that mentality to take on new roles heading into their pro days.
Yeah, for sure. And a player that I got the chance to talk to yesterday was Ike Ekwonu, another offensive lineman from NC State. This guy is super down to earth, super humble, and extremely hardworking. This guy is going to be amazing in the NFL. Wherever he gets picked in the first round, it's going to be a great chance to see. So for the rest of the day, we have media coverage, we have bench press, we have different 40-yard dash times, all inside of Lucas Oil Stadium and here in the Convention Center. It's going to be an amazing day, and it's been an amazing week so far, and we cannot wait to give you guys more coverage on what is going on into the 2022 NFL Combine. But for now, we're going to send it back to the studio for you guys, and Angelica and Madeline, back to you guys.
'22 NFL Combine.
Spring break is only a couple hours away, and typically a time where college students look forward to. But for students, it's been a while since they've been able to celebrate. Here we did a poll here at Cardinal Weather, asking students on Instagram what they are planning to do for spring break this year.
Yeah, I definitely took that poll, and we wanted to get a more in-depth on what everyone's break is looking like, especially since this is the first time we're back on spring break since 2020. So we have a few responses here from a few of our listeners on Instagram, including going home and relaxing. A lot of people are sleeping. There's one person working. Oh, that looks so sad. People are going on vacation. They're going everywhere. So be sure to follow us on Instagram to be interactive on our show at Waking Up with Cardinal Weather WX. And now we'll turn it to Jack for our final look at weather.
Yeah, one last look at our 7-day here. We have a nice gradual warm-up for this weekend, which is going to be in the 70s. We have a chance for rain on Sunday morning and then throughout the day on Monday, and then we'll be in the mid-40s and mid-50s to end the week as well.
Thank you, Jack. That's all for Cardinal Weather for this Friday morning. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you after break. Have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic and safe spring break.